Dear friends, today we talk about the virtue of perseverance. And patience is the virtue related to overcoming this sorrow, this sadness. By patience, we support grief and we keep a calm heart in the face of adversity. And we don't allow sadness to deprive us of the energy to escape from something difficult. Now, perseverance is different. It's related to patience, but perseverance consists in being able to persist, to continue in a difficult good action as long as necessary to finish it. And it's related to something that is long, it's a prolonged effort. It's the virtue, we could say, of the hunter, right, that needs to go after and be patient. The fisherman is a virtue we find in nature, that nature perseveres, so to say, is the drop of water that opens a hole in the stone. Or in other cases, is the drop of water that little by little builds the columns of the cave, the stalactites and the stalagmites, one drop, every 11 minutes, and every day just 2 millimeters. That's the perseverance. We could say that there is no virtue at all without perseverance. Perseverance is a dimension of every virtue, but it's also a virtue in its own. So without perseverance, there is nothing valuable, because if we are not perseverant, then we are always changing. Like the wind, like the weather of Colorado, we just follow the strongest wind, like a fickle person. Someone you cannot trust, because not because he is evil, but because he doesn't persevere. He's always changing. So perseverance as a strategy of love, it's about a great love of God, love of my spouse, love of my family, and this great love generates a great desire and a great anger to do something and to continue and continue as long as necessary. So it's this good anger, good, that is coming from a great love, a great desire, and now I have this energy to achieve the goal and continue till the end. So every virtue depends on perseverance. And to build a communion of persons, to build a family, to be faithful to my spouse, it takes a lot of perseverance. Um, let's think about the vows of the couple, right? The vows of holy matrimony, or the promise of a priest or a religious, the vows. Think about education. To educate is necessary perseverance. So perseverance in our education as growing means that we need to start small and then be able to persevere in the small things so we can persevere later in the middle size and then in the great things. So imagine the promise of the wedding, right? Or the promise of a nun or a priest. That huge promise that is love forever, faithful love, it's educated with small promises, small moments of perseverance. When a boy says, I will do my homework today, I will do my chores this week, I will pray a rosary or a decade of the rosary every day during May. Small promises that are accomplished and prepare our heart for greater promises. Small responsibilities, perseverance in small things that prepares our heart for greater things. So perseverance helps us understand life as a race, as a marathon, as something that is long. It's not about a sprint now. It's about I keep running, I persevere. And it's important also to think that perseverance is not a solitary virtue. It's always a strategy of love. So perseverance is always something I do with others and for others. So more than just running alone, perseverance is about running with a team, or maybe running on these relays, right? That one runs 5 miles and then the next one another 5 and another 5. So I belong to a team. I am persevering, I'm running because someone is waiting for me to take the baton. Um, or imagine the man who ran the first marathon. He was bringing the good news of the victory, so that's why he was running. He was persevering to bring joy to others, to bring the victory. So perseverance is something that we do not just alone as solitary individuals, but from others and for others. From others because I learned perseverance from others, from my parents, their perseverance with me, and always for others. So how important is to persevere in a relationship? I am angry with my brother, but I persevere with him because I know this relationship, with this bond with my brother, is a gift of God. I need to persevere. I cannot give up. Or in my spouse, right, with my spouse, I persevere with him in this relationship, with her, building this communion. It's very important that we persevere with others, building together, even if I grow weary. It's not just my race as fast as I can, but perseverance has to do with waiting for others and um, continue to believe in this relationship that God has given me. What are the vices of perseverance? Very interesting. We can consider many vices, but especially two. One is, of course, lack of perseverance, like softness, or in Latin, mollifies, um, or some, it's called also like effeminacy, like false femininity. This lack of fortitude, that is indolence, and maybe it's sometimes more in the woman, but also in the man, right? To give up too soon because something is out of my comfort zone. I don't feel like continuing, and the man who perseveres does not forsake a good on account of long endurance, of difficulties and toils. So it's like something softness, something that is ready to yield to the touch, right? It's soft, it's not solid. It's solid, but it's not, resistant, perseverant. And the other vice against perseverance is, there is softness, lack of perseverance, and then there is stubbornness. When you are not perseverant, you are just, headstrong, self-opinionated, and maybe it's more common in men, just imagine in the car, the husband is driving, and they are lost in the city or lost on the road, and he will never accept that they are lost, right? It will take many minutes, maybe hours, until he recognizes stubbornness. I try to do something that is not realistic, something that is not good, and I just persist. So pertinacity, or this stubbornness, Tooley says that this stubbornness is to perseverance what superstition is to religion. So superstition is not true religion, and stubbornness is not true perseverance. When I refuse to give up my opinions, just because to do so will be to admit that someone else is right, someone else is more intelligent. So how can we avoid stubbornness? Through the medicine of humility. I may be wrong. Through obedience, asking for advice, and remembering, why am I doing this? Is it just pride or stubbornness, or I am doing it because there are reasons, because God called me, because... So this is the question, whether, we have this lack of perseverance, softness, or we are just stubborn, headstrong. Okay, well, the question of perseverance is very present everywhere in the Bible. And for us, the great question is, can we persevere? Because Jesus says that the one who perseveres to the end will be saved. So it's quite important to persevere. It's about salvation, about holiness. And we can see in the Bible King Solomon, who was a wise man, a great, the son of David, started so well, but he finished lost. He did not persevere. Cardinal Newman said of Solomon, the wisest of all men became the worst, the most brutal. The most faithful became the most perverted. So can I persevere in my priesthood, in my marriage, in my friendship? I can only persevere with the grace of God. It's not my measure, my strength to persevere, but I need the grace of God. So today let us remember the love of the beginning. The fire that loves us to persevere is the love of Christ, who persevered in his suffering. If we look at the cross, perseverance is manifested in the nails that fixed Jesus to the cross. He persevered, he did not abandon until he said, "It is accomplished," and he died for us.